Good afternoon, everybody. I got the sound coming through the computer. Today, I've been trying to do so many different things, and yesterday I was trying to do so many different things, and I have this course that I'm taking it was 3 hours. I got 14 hours, and that's just a general, and I swear I worked on it a lot of yesterday and a lot of today, but I didn't it's reading page after page after page, and I guess I have it as a PDF, so I haven't tried to open it. I should try to open it in Word and see if I can make the background yellow. So I already posted one or two videos. I think I posted yesterday's video, and I think I posted today's video. So since that time, a couple hours ago, it's sunset time now. I'm actually really hot. I think the AC is off. I wasn't thinking it was going to get hot, guys. I should turn it on. Talk about climate control. Let me turn this thing on. I feel like if you use the button on the machine, you have to use the button on the machine. If you use the remote control, which I think the battery's dead. Notice, it's hard to tell it's on. I don't even think it's doing anything. This is the Mitsubishi. Okay. And I've looked up the symbols online. For the life of me, there's flies trying to get in my drink. This happened yesterday. It's gross. It's like I had to throw my stuff away. I actually didn't, but it was almost gone. So this top is supposed to keep bugs off your drink, and it's got like kind of nice because it has like a cap. What does this say on it? Prevention works. So it's kind of cool that it has the hook. I have some magnetic hooks, not that many, and we have some, what is this? I call them J. It's not a J, is it? It's a J hook or S hook, I guess. So it depends how you write your letters. So I just have to drink that fast. Since the time that I had the morning or late morning videos, early afternoon, I had gone to look up my student loans, and it's a lot of money that literally I had tears in my eyes, and it's no surprise, but it's one loan was in for many years, not one, a bunch of loans were in Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes went apparently to Nelnet, so I couldn't even access anything. I have no records. I have no proof of payments. I have no tax documents. And you know how you feel like you have a bank or financial institution that you can access your stuff for like 7, 8, 9, 10 years? I can't get in. It says we are Nelnet. I got locked out of the Nelnet. They have no record of me. I can't make a new account. I can log in as an old account. I couldn't seek my, let me check. I tried to seek my user. Yeah, they didn't have record of me. My user ID. I don't think they sent me any emails. So I have, I was like, did I really have an account through that one? What happened to Navient? What happened to that Mohila thing that I was in the airport? Oh my gosh. I was in the laundromat, and I had some emails or whatever on my phone from Mohila, and I was like, what is that? I think it might have been because they were starting the student loan forgiveness for my account where I have little partials. So if I would have started a nonprofit in 2014, 2015, when I got my license and I started the business in 14. I graduated and did the boards in 14. If I was in a nonprofit, I probably would have started in 2014 and then just redid. I think Maryland or Oregon used to have a, I'm going to call it sliding scale. What's it called? Prorated license. So if you did get it at the end of the year, it wasn't necessarily 1/4 of the yearly fee, but it was definitely, it might have been 1/4, or it was at least a small fraction of it. For a lot of people, we don't take the boards till like the end of the year. We take the boards in the summer. We don't get our results until the end of the year. So, and residents were trying to work September, and they got their results. God help them. That's another reason I didn't want to be a resident, because God help you if you're a resident and you didn't pass your boards You can't be a resident, right? Because you need to pass your boards. If you don't pass your boards, you can't get your medical license. Ooh, that's scary. I didn't want that kind of pressure. I should have applied the next year, though, guys. I should have. They let you take your boards early now. They let you take your boards, I think, before you graduate. And then when you graduate, they don't give you the results until you graduate. Until you have proof of the certification. They keep changing stuff, guys. Back to the loans. Unfortunately, I had to retake my undergraduate classes. And I guess I was working with the advisor, and I was also working with the medical school staff, and it was hit or miss. You talk to some people, say, oh, you have to take this class. Oh, you don't have to take this class. Oh, this class is optional. Oh, and so I'm like, you know what? Let me just take the whole 4 years, and I end up having to borrow 10 grand a year for 4 years, and it was less than 4 years because I ran out of funding, and I'm mad at myself for not doing that last term because I would have had another Bachelor of Science of General Science. And I ended up, I wonder if there's a reason, but I didn't get my degree from, my financial aid shows that I didn't get my degree from Michigan State, so they should have issued me grants if they try to say that I didn't have a degree. I was like, God, they better have that on file. I need to contact, I'm almost about to call them now. Anyways, we were told a bunch of lies, and then I didn't need to take all those classes. They did nothing. I said, I'm going to do it just so I can learn how to learn, because I know as a student for so many years, the books change so frequently. Stuff's added, stuff's removed. Pluto's a planet, Pluto's not a planet. So I said, let's just get with the times. You know, I was an older person. I was still in my 20s, so I think when I was doing more pre-med, I was in my 20s. Maybe 28, 29. Well, I was in homeless programs, so they wouldn't let me go back. They wouldn't let me go back to school. They didn't stop me from going to school, but they said if you don't do what we say, if you do what you want to do, you're getting kicked out of the shelter. So I definitely had a choice. I almost wish that I did. I almost wish that I did go to school. God, can you imagine if I went to school and if I started a nonprofit? My loans would have already been forgiven instead of a regular LLC. But I can't go back in time. I always wanted a nonprofit because I wanted to be able to collect funds so that I could travel to like Zimbabwe and distribute it. The Christian organizations were like really strict on who they let travel with them. The ones I saw, and you needed letters and all this stuff from your pastors, and they wanted certain degrees that weren't, or licenses that weren't mine, and it was crazy. Like the Christian people in Portland wouldn't even let me do blood pressures and stuff at the events, and I volunteered my time, and they wanted to take the glory, and they just gave me dirty looks the whole time. It was really uncomfortable. I think at one of those events I did get a massage. I go to a chiropractor too. Maybe it was the same person. So I can say that, and I have sent patients to those for glasses and dental work. So I do appreciate it. I just wish that I could have. I'm pretty sure I was the only person of color healthcare provider, especially in Southwest Portland. I went to two, I think, one or two. I don't remember seeing any other people of color. They did have some Latino or Spanish-speaking people that were translating, so I can say that. But as far as the healthcare providers, the doctors and nurses, they won't let me do anything. That's a whole nother story. So I have this passion to help people, and I get roadblocks, and then I go and serve, but I'm given roadblocks while I'm there. They're just like, you just sit there. And someone's like, oh, since you're not doing blood pressure, can I borrow your equipment? It's like, you ain't got your own equipment. The thing is, my stuff was nice. I was like trying to watch it like a hawk. My stuff was so nice. I hope that wasn't contributing to why part of my equipment broke. God, now I'm thinking back. Okay, I got a whiteboard in there that I'm going to wipe down in a minute. I should push pause and go do it, huh? I said to myself, come back to the story on today. I said to myself, go to Department of Ed, which I didn't even know about prior to a year ago. I don't remember going to the Department of Ed and seeing who is a loan service. Like, you go online and it can say, hey, to determine who your loan server, or can we share information between Department of Ed and Great Lakes Loan, or Navient. I had a bunch of other servers. I started at Wells Fargo because direct loan, but it was before they had the government ones, and I had to subsidize Stanford. Maybe 2006, I can't remember. I think it was 2006, and I went to that 4 years, and then I had spring and summer break to spend with my children, and I was working too, I guess. I'm pretty sure I was working because I was doing extra hours, and then to go to med school September of 2009. So it would have had to have been like, wow, I feel like I did 4 years. That would have been 2004, 5, 6. Yeah, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 2000, whatever. And Department of Ed had a bunch of stuff like high wait times on the phone, all these different red notices, really big and in gray with red next to it. And it had a little blurb on top that said there'll be an outage on the 19th. So I said, oh, that's yesterday, and so I click through and say, oh, I really should read these more in detail. I'm not making a phone call. I just want to see who's holding on to these loans. And I showed you guys that student aid paperwork I had here the other day. Oh, I got to recycle the envelope. That's what's going on here, yeah. The Department of Ed here, and Aidvantage, whatever that means. And the spot to log in was there, but it wasn't letting me type anything. So it's basically grayed out and frozen. And I was having tears in my eyes. I couldn't get into Nelnet. There was no more Great Lakes. I was able to get to Navient, and that wasn't complete. I went through this paperwork, guys, and you don't even want to see all these numbers. Donations accepted. This isn't even all of it, guys. This is like, look at this. You can't even see it because it's mirror image. I had to use that other camera. I went through and highlighted the ones that said consolidate, I didn't highlight, and the ones that did say consolidate, I left alone. And then I see Navient and Mohila. So then I was like, I don't even know what happened to the Nelnet one. So I'm like so confused. I did, as far as I know, save the tax forms. I don't know if let's see if I can show you the bottom. You had to mirror image it. You see those numbers? $420,000, $554. And the interest rate is all cattywampus. The interest rates there were some really low ones, and there was some zero ones. And they're gone because I consolidated half of these. I think 10 out of 21. So this is an absolute nightmare for me. I'm going to cry just to about it. So I got this regular file thing, but that's the lock one. So I'm going to I guess I'll do the one on the bottom. Because that one says work and taxes. I don't need to put it in taxes. That one's getting full because my tax stuff is crazy. And then this one here is almost empty because that one is now in the metal one. And then I'm pretty sure I have extra of the hanging tab holders, and it's a whole nother game of just taking stuff to the recycling, and the recycling is overflowing. So another resident or another tenant overflowed it, and I didn't take the whole bag of stuff that I had, or the box, or the other box, or the other box, or the other box. But there was a box here, and there was a bag Oh, I almost feel like, oh wait, should I have kept that box? Because I had stuff shipped in the styrofoam with a box around it, and I know to keep the stuff safe and the cardboard from falling apart. I'm like, oops. I've seen people ship coolers in Portland, like with fish in it, across the country. Anyways, back to the loans. Oh God, if I touched a spot on my finger, I hurt it really badly several months ago, and I didn't go in for x-rays or anything. Ooh, it hurts. It smarts, like, gosh. It should have healed by now, guys. Anyways, ooh, that was probably one of the worst pinches since it happened. The loan is now the ones that say consolidated, I should double check that, are in the, well, it was repay. I didn't have it in repay. I had an income-based repayment, and I was hoping to debt snowball it out, and then I had the SAVE program. It was beta recently, but then someone told me to do it. So people are paying people hundreds of dollars an hour to help them talk through this. And it's not the expert government, but when you call the loan servicers, they'll tell you stuff to just hang up the phone. Like, some of them don't know, and they just say stuff. And if you call the government, it's so hard to get these, like, tax season. How are you going to sit on the phone for 6 hours on hold? Like, and then actually have the phone disconnect. And it's not like they just, oh, wait, we know that number, call it back right away. It's like, no. And it's a nightmare. The website doesn't work. Exceedingly long wait times. So I didn't want to consolidate the other loans that were in the direct loan. So I believe the ones that I showed you that are not highlighted are the FFEL or whatever, and I don't even know what that means. Family something, federal family loan. I had called a year ago. I had a question, and it wasn't this chaotic time, or I don't know when, and maybe it was for the public service, because I have a lot of government work and education work, but just little. You guys have heard me say that anytime I've tried to get a full-time job, I haven't been able to for the life of me. If I had to get a full-time job, just say, oh, I should say Pizza Hut was a full-time job. So I'm not going to say never anymore. I have had one full-time job in my life, and that was Pizza Hut. So, all right, then let's bucket list off the bucket list. I definitely work full-time hours because they want someone to work. If you're not full-time, then they often pay you less. You don't get benefits. But when no one else shows up, or they use all their sick and their holiday pays and their paid holidays off, guess who shows up? The lowest paid person who doesn't have any benefits. Then you're like, well, since I get paid so I might as well just work. I might as well do it at 4 in the morning till 4 at night. I've been to work at 4 till 4 a.m. and the sun was coming up. Well, that's really bad. That's like the worst. One of the worst. When you're coming to work at like 3 and you don't leave till 4 a.m. I'm sure there's many nurses and stuff will say that, but let's just say something there. Being inside of a pizza place by yourself, running 4 phone lines and ovens and fryers and having to clean. You had to clean everything. And our freezer was broke. Our fridge was broke, so we had to put everything in the walk-in. You know how restaurant stuff, they had the cold spot. My boss was getting dry ice every day. It's ridiculous, guys. We had to cart everything. Pull all the containers and all the pizzas out and dough and put it in a cart and stick it somewhere else. It was absolutely a nightmare. And then you had to throw away the old stuff too and take the trash out. You know how heavy pizza dough is. Anyways, back to this. I was supposed to push stop already. So I wasn't going to do anything about this. I had 10 days to make changes to this, and I didn't. And I had something from the IRS recently that I don't even know where it is. All this stuff that I keep saving, these papers, I'm like not finding them. I'm not even looking in the file area. I should have a note to self, like, clean all surfaces off, starting with your file cabinets. Because if it's not a file cabinet with a drawer that's organized, then stuff is on top, and then you put that somewhere. Like, oh, this is to file, this is important. Like, just make a file that says to file. Like, then at least it doesn't end up like underneath a pair of wet shoes, you know. Anyways, back to this. I know, why should we have wet shoes in here? Why? Because we don't have a foyer or a mudroom or garage or like, anyways, whole nother thing. If we left stuff outside, I feel like it'd walk pretty fast. Someone already stole our rug, our outdoor rug. Hey, the floor is getting really dirty since we don't have that. I was supposed to stop the video. I didn't look over the fine print of the, what you call it? The save, or the save, yeah. And I just did it. I just signed up for it. I think you have a few minutes to go back and change it. I actually forgot to print the application, and I feel like an idiot. It said, do you want to pay? So I read the fine print and I missed a page and there was no backspace. And I've done this before with the student loan stuff, and I felt like I had to restart the whole application over again because I needed to go back and either change something or fix something or double check. And so I'm really scared. So here's Mohila's. I think the Department of Ed has a high call volume, saving on variable education, return to repayment, income-driven account adjustments, loan service. Remember when everybody got approved for the government sent everyone an email saying we got approved for loan forgiveness for the I call it stipend, that $10,000 or $20,000. What happened to that? They sent it out erroneously. I'm scared to click this. Oh, is this my actual? It says please allow up to 3 business. I don't know if this is specific. So okay, to tell you the small print. It's like interest. What? $44. I don't even understand this page. So I forgot to print. I forgot to go back and print. IDR. So the point of this video, and sorry for going over the 15 minutes, was there's people that will take hundreds of dollars an hour to do the, why does it say non-Mohila? I don't even understand what they're talking about. The people, they have some things. I had somebody tell me some stuff, and they were actually telling me stuff that was not right, or that they didn't know enough about my situation. There's like, just don't do it. You need to go get a job. Like, I didn't ask you about getting a job. There's some deadlines coming up. This was in August. You don't know how much I make, because I don't even know how much I make. And I think so little of myself that I don't even expect to make a penny when I go to work. And then I receive checks, and then I'm going to spell Mohila. Make sure I spell it right. I keep calling it Mohila. I hope Mohila is not derogatory. So I don't even know how much I make. I know that I'm not making a ton of money, because if I found out, if I was getting checks every day, I talked about doing quarterly taxes, because I file my taxes as an individual and not as a corporation or S corp. I'm not doing that because, and the reality is, I may have a deficit during the end of the year. I'm not going to have a deficit this year. I don't care. It's 9/20. This is going to get to be the fourth quarter for eBay and resellers. They talk about the fourth quarter for retail people. Talk about the fourth quarter. Look, we're going to have a fourth quarter. We're going to have a really good, we're going to go into the black. Yeah. We're going to be motivated. I'm trying to motivate you guys, because if you have the same issues that I have with friends and relatives and counselors saying you can't, pastors, everyone, you can't. So I didn't reread everything. I read as much as I could the other day, probably in August. I didn't want to deal with it. I have in my calendar that I'm probably ignoring every day. Deal with the student loan stuff. We had until December 31st this year to do some of this save, to be eligible for certain perks. I don't even know what they are. I don't even know if they can process all this by January. So I had one of the loans said that I owed a certain amount of money on January 9th. And I was in the income-based repayment, and it was supposed to be 0. And I said, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's just because the loans change hands. Do I need to reapply for the income-based? Did I miss payments? Are they sending me emails saying, see your online statement, and I'm not looking at it? It's not coming in the mail. Am I, like, kind of like future tripping and freaking out? When I try to look at certain things, it's saying, you know, you don't have an account. There's no more business anymore. Let's look it up. So the point of that is, whatever your situation is, and even if it's a regular debt, it's a situation when you pay a credit card and you missed a payment and they charge you the interest and the late fee. Your payment was supposed to be paid in full. You want to pay in full of $100. You were late, so now you owe, say, $160. So they did 25% interest rate and a $35 late fee. You pay off the $100 and you think, okay, I cleared that card. But they sent you a bill, and oftentimes you don't look at the bill, or it goes to your email. Like, I don't have the time to go click on the email and go look up my account. Like, I'm not saying that to do that, but we need to make time. And then the next month, the bill is that late fee and the interest, which you thought you paid off what was due. So now you have $60, and you forget to pay it. Say, oh, I already paid that in full. So now they tack another 25% interest and another $35 and another $25, another $30. And it's like months go by and you're like, oh, and then your account's closed, your credit's red, credit monitoring think you're crazy. And they're like, I feel like the invisible Joker AI, they're not even Joker, this is the truth, this is the reality. They're like, she thinks she's going to buy a house. Somebody missed a bill, or if you share a card with a child or a parent, it comes up on your credit report. And so be careful, even if it's not a relative. If you have a signer, I don't even know what it would be for the business. If you have a signer in their Social Security, it can affect your credit rating. And it'd be nice if their income would help boost everything, because like, oh, these people together have this much income. It's like my Social Security number has my income and everybody else's kind of faults and defaults. And so keep an eye on your stuff. I was scared when I had my dad's card show up on my credit rating. Somebody said, go get this Wells Fargo 1 month free to get your credit score and credit report. Then you come into this bank downtown Portland and we'll cancel it. I don't do stuff like that anymore. I did that with, was it Netscape or something back in the day, where you got a free trial for internet back in the 90s, and then you cancel the free trial, but then 6 months later they send you 6 months of bills, like with late fees. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. Speaking of bills, I'm going to call Comcast and ask them to, they used to give you a discount for paying a certain way, or paying auto pay. Now they don't. I guess they give you half. So a lot of things I call and people mess stuff up, so I actually might just look online. Maybe if I write them a check, it won't be a bunch of fees. I don't even know what to do. There's a lot of things people mess up and they delete my incentive, and then I end up paying, sometimes for Verizon, I pay more than twice as much per month. There's $35 every 2 months to $40 a month, and that's because of one mistake I made and a bunch of mistakes other people made. I do not want any customer service. I don't want to be on the phone and have them be like, oh, we just changed it. And I feel like they put me in some other program, they signed me up that costs more. I feel like they're getting an incentive because they're doing something without my permission. And you call back and they say, oh, well, there's no notes here. It says you wanted this and this and this. Like, is someone going to actually, do they really record these calls? Do you actually have someone who cares? The CEO's not going through listening and saying, oh my gosh, Dr. Meehan got ripped off here. Let's like recredit her account and her money. It's like, no, you gave someone a bonus and they got a reward for being shady as heck and doing something that I didn't give you permission to do. Anything you have a contract with, you should never be able to just have somebody change something. They used to give you stuff in your email where you had to do, where you do online signing. They say, hey, you want to do this thing, you want to make this change, here, go ahead. And they used to have you say, hey, read the fine print, I'm going to email it to you right now. and instead of just verbally doing it, because again, I've had too many things. What is this? This isn't the card I was looking for. I need to get rid of this one. Oh, that's crazy. It expires like the end of the month. So I gotta make sure that the new one is actually in my purse. So I did the save. I don't know if I'll regret it. I think if your income goes up, I think they re-add the interest on. There's some fine print. So the point of this is, if you need to read everything, if you can get through on the Department of Ed, read what you can. There's contradictory stuff, and there's stuff written unclearly. I'm on a student debt group on Facebook, which I don't really use, that whole Facebook. And there's people saying, oh, if you do this, your interest is covered. What it is what I read sounded like that from the actual government website. If your payment is $50 a month and the interest is added that month is $51, I think what they do is you pay the $50 and then the government absorbs that $51. And if your payment for the month is scheduled to be $50 and your interest for that month is $49, you pay the interest for that month. $49 goes to the interest and $1 goes to principal. But if you have a bunch of loans, I don't even know how they even do that. So I'm telling you to look that up. You can get guidelines and ask yourself questions when you hear other people speak, or other people say, oh no, it's like this. Oh, my lawyer, my accountant, my dog, the loan service guy that I paid $600 an hour, I called the Department of Ed, they all said this. Look it up. Take notes on what they said, and then go ask somebody. And after you ask somebody, if they can walk you through that and say, this is on page such and such, and it clearly says what that means. This is on such and such. If they can't do that while you're in real time during your appointment, even if they do, go and look it up yourself. And make time to make the phone calls and do the paperwork and read the fine print. And if you were like me today, I will suggest, if I was talking to myself, I probably would go back and restart the application and read the fine print on that page that I missed. Because I could have missed something major, guys. In fact, I have the application right here. Let's see what I missed. It was the second to last page. Let's see if they added anything. And they have these calculators, and I have so many numbers that I can't tell if this is it says samples. I don't think that's mine. And of course not. It says 42,000. That would be a miracle. So yeah, I did read these pages. So it was the page, second to last page before the this is weird, because it's like they ask you questions in the beginning to see if you qualify for certain programs, and then it fills it in later. Kind of like when you do your taxes online. Oh my god, it says choose a plan. I chose save, and it comes up as repay. Isn't that scary? Because it has repay, pay, IBR, and ICR, and then recommended. I want the income-driven repayment plan with the lowest monthly payment. Oh my god. It says recommended. Oh, ouch. And then it has the note, if you have the FFEL program loans, they are only eligible for IBR. However, you can consolidate your loans at studentloan.gov to access more beneficial income-driven repayment plans. So there's a lot of fine print. Whatever I just looked at one part of the page. Didn't match up with what I just signed, but my signature's at the end of that. So you heard me get shocked. And it had stuff about if you had a spouse and if you hadn't done your taxes in a couple of years, how to give proof of income and stuff like that. So a lot of that was NA, and some of it was asked in the beginning before they even gave you the choice. And there is one part with adjusted gross income, and for that I had estimated it in my head, and I was thinking, oh, it's just going to be a range if you make under this much. But I said, no, whoa. So I did start over, or go back. Yeah, I started over. And I said, you need the exact. And they actually asked for the penny, down to the penny and the stuff. You need to do the exact. And I had missed one of the lines that said, do you have any other loans not serviced by Mokuila? What is the dollar amount? And I put that down too. So again, I think it's easier to go and fix it. And if I could have backspaced, I would have gone through line by line and double checked it, but I didn't see that option. The last thing is this crunch time. I have a lot of paperwork, a lot of money needs to go out of all of my businesses from now until December 31st, and I'm uncomfortable. And then January, February, March, I'll have to be crunching numbers, saving money in order to get taxes paid, and my business licenses are due during tax season for 2 states, and I want to do more than one. I want to do Vermont permanent license and get the 1 to 3 resident agent. The cheapest I saw was about $100 a year per state resident agent for my businesses where I don't reside. And I'm sick to my stomach because that's another chunk. And besides wanting to do, what was QuickBooks? Was it $44 a month? They had the cheap one. Was it $20 a month? There was a review about the QuickBooks. $20 a month was. Someone said it was like a trial. Like, oh, they bought it from Best Buy, I think. They said they couldn't really do anything with it, and some people tried to use you can't use the desktop version really. They needed to add it, and it wasn't compatible with the previous desktop program that they had. So it's kind of like, it seemed like they had to start over, and it definitely didn't have all of the perks and bells and whistles that the people had. So I heard about that also from some business associates, and I didn't know what to do. My partner thinks it would look better for trying to get a house to show the profit loss and all that stuff. So I think what I'm going to do, because everyone's saying, no, you need to do this, you need to do this, I'll help you pay for this, I'll help you do this, you need to sign up for this, or the state's going to help you with home ownership, and all of it's fallen through. So I need to stop waiting for somebody else and go ahead and continue my spreadsheet, which I do have. It just needs to be updated and double checked. And I have self audits where I said you resend that bill in, and I need to go back and see if it got received before the deadline and see if there was any additional payments. And God forbid you send it in and you put the wrong ICD-9 code or 10 code first, and it gets booted back as not being paid. Like, you owe them money now. And I thank you that the insurance did pay me. They said there was a shortage on one thing, and they did send me an extra check the next week. I really appreciate that. And I know if I find that out, or the patients, or the fee, the out-of-pocket cost, if there's something funky I did, I will have to issue a check. And I have some checks for my business, but it's in a bank account that doesn't have much money. So I need my other bank. I don't have any checks. I'll go online and see if I can order checks. This other bank is, Navy Federal is doing free checks, and I didn't do the ones for the personal account. But so I'll probably test the waters and see if I can do a mobile deposit through them, so I can send my rent check. Because the Wells Fargo ones, I don't have. I might have 3 left, and you always kind of want at least one on hand, and you want the voided one if you got to upload to prove the bank account. They don't want funds going into how the number's wrong because you typed it in. I have a letter from the bank I was supposed to use for something too. So the bank, I wanted to end with this, these last 2 points. The banks that you use, even online, they often say $20 off to our customers, this and that, $30 off, TurboTax, this and that, H&R, and I'm like, I don't have time to deal with it. it gets to be too much. My relatives get their tax stuff in January, at the latest, the beginning of February. If it's coming through the mail late, they usually probably already have a digital copy, and then the school papers for my kids. But mine is a bunch of me as an independent contractor for insurance, and then doing my cash payment. That's what I said, with the spreadsheets and stuff, and the receipts, and then having the business as a sole proprietor, dealing with these dividends and these other things that is chaotic, even if it's a small amount. I know people say, oh, if it's not over $10, but what if you have a total of $10? And I had sold some crypto. I had lost money on it, though, and it's confusing when they ask you, do you have anything? And I have more than once received some of these documents well after April 15th. And so I need to make a personal spreadsheet that has my investment accounts. I need to look at the tax year 2023 to see if they still don't allow us to deduct or to get a credit for entering money into a retirement account, like a regular, was it Roth or non-Roth, or Roth, or is there one called what's the other one called, whatever, Roth IRA or whatever, and then the student loan interest. So when I do debt snowball and I was paying the principal, I don't think that would count, so that's creepy too. If you just do it general, just make a payment. You make $5 and you got 20 loans, does it divide it into 20 different $5 into 20 and give each one? I don't even know. So it sounds like paper clutter, it sounds like file cabinet clutter, it sounds like stacks of paper and envelope clutter, it sounds like digital clutter. What happens if my computer, if I don't back it up? Clutter. What happens if I miss an email because I have too much junk email coming in, I don't have time to deal with it? Do the best you can, you guys. I'm just telling you, I need to do the best I can. Telling you is really just telling myself what to do. It's being bossy, because I'm not giving any advice. So if you guys have ever taken cash out free taxes or any of those, let me know, because I was applying to get a rebate for one, and maybe an ID, these digital ones are supposed to get taxes for your business and stuff. If you paid $200 last year, some stuff's supposed to be, they have programs that help reimburse the funds. I haven't figured out how to do that, and I have a real hard time. I feel like I have a way easier time doing my taxes on paper, and I actually should print them all up now. I should print them all up now and stick them in for 2023, and then it's too complicated, and I'm talking to you guys because most people would have turned this video off first. I'm talking to you guys who are still listening, because there's other people in the world that have some kind of mind that's always spinning and always tinkering with anything legal, basically. I'm in recovery. I have addiction. I want to collect herbal teas and furniture and apparently carpets. But this stuff's getting ruined. It's unorganized. Stuff is turning up missing. So I need to shift and realize. I'm being reminded watching people's video. It's a lady I told you to watch, Tennessee Tina something. Watching her talk about her recovery, her past, her jail time. And it's reminding me that even though it's like that chaos, it's still a pink cloud to me of going through recovery the early years and how hard it was to keep it together. But there wasn't as much chaos. There was one bank account, and they threw on that credit card as an overdraft. I wasn't ever going to get a credit card, and that's why I'm in debt, because I accepted it as an overdraft protection. And the reason I did it is because I would get med school. I didn't use it until I got to med school, and they didn't give us our funds until after school started in a paper check. the other school just deposit about 2 weeks in advance, and that way you had your money to buy your books. First come, first serve for the used copies, you know what I mean? Or ordering it on Amazon. Your teacher tells you you need your lab book the first day of class or you're in trouble. If you have the funds, you order the book. And you order as soon as you can, because if you don't, then you got to go to Powell's or wherever and the bookstore and pay the full price. So, our school, I used a credit card because I said, hey, I don't have school supplies, I don't have books, I don't have pens, like printer paper. I mean, you don't need all that stuff, but it really helps to at least have the books. And, God, I went to med school, guys. I went to pre-med. God, good grief. You're going to go buy a book that costs $600. And then if you happen to retake the class, like I audited one class and then I retook it, and you got to buy the new book, and you pay another $600. I'm like, this book is only like a year and a half old. Not even counting the lab fees and parking fees and all the stuff that you want to get checked off your list. Because once you get in school, there's tests and homework start popping up. You don't have time to be, hiding your mail from some porch pirate or something. You know what I mean? So you just hang in there, you guys. The last thing is, I'm looking at a table that you cannot see. If I had a camera, I probably wouldn't show it to you. I consider setting you guys up on a table. My tables are pretty short that I got. They're just flat surfaces now. But I have this table, and I'm going to do whatever I can to clean that table off. And guess what? I don't want to do it. I'm going to grab one of these trash bags. I'm going to put trash in it. And I already have the recycling bag for paper. There's something heavy in there. Oh, it's like a U-line book. And then I have, be careful you have more than one business, because they'll be like to send you a whole bunch of those books, and all that stuff's online. It makes you want to, it puts it in your mind though. It makes you think, oh, I could use, remember those one things I bought? Those one purple bags I bought that don't get used for anything? And I bought them once, I sold them on eBay, and then I was like, still have some, and like, you're like, dude, you've been doing that for years, like, don't buy any more. Oh, what about the blue ones? Maybe I'll actually use the blue. And like, get some laminate, you put them in there, stick it in every dresser, and then be happy. Be old-fashioned. I'm like boho style. Like, what if I did that? What if I clean this table off? I was like, what if I just take everything on the table and set it on the floor and come back to you guys and say, guess what? I cleaned that table up. So, Sophia, my great challenge, I finally rewound her, I didn't rewind, but it went back in her timeline and did see her Etsy room, which is a closet, and I say, you know what, she has walls, she has ceilings, she has windows, she has the wall go all the way up so she can actually stand here, and she's doing some unfinished basement, yucky looking walls, unfinished, people put stuff together haphazard because it's not in the finished part of the house. She's turning that into, and I missed a video because I was doing work, she's turning that into a area where she's going to have a desk and a shelf, which will have plenty of shelves. Why can't you use this back area that is absolutely being used for nothing? Put a shelf there. What if we have one of the shelf? Yeah, here's a short shelf right here on wheels. It'd be nice if we put I wonder if my partner can do another shelf on the bottom. I'm gonna ask him when he gets back if he could put this. The problem with these wire shelves, they hang down that inch, so I won't have room for these big crates. Actually, might. You know what I ought to do? I ought to go put that over there. I think there's a muffler over there though. It needs to go on our car before it snows, for the ice. Or maybe we should wait till after they put salt on the ice. But what if I put, okay, let's just say, what if I put a shelf over here, or at least put my crates over there? I might not be able to right now. And then, so first of all, let's clean the tape off. But if I did that, and then I had a basket where I put all of the tapes, because I have the tape over here. These wire shelves, if you don't get the covers to make it so stuff doesn't fall over, then you get kind of limited on what you can do, and stuff keeps falling over. And then there's a box of empty pill jars, and I'm starting to recycle them. Like here's one we got, but I love the brown glass ones, and I have a real hard time getting rid of those. But I'm actually gonna stop using that medication, I think, and just make it with tea. So if I want to buy jars, buy the recycle these and buy brand new ones, or if I find some beads and stuff that I want to go ahead and label. But I think there's one box in here. Something told me to just dismiss all that, recycle all that, and then I have, let's see, I'm trying to think of getting a bin for the tape and the scissors and maybe even the stickers and stuff, and then putting one of these shelves over there. You could technically leave it here where it's brighter, and then, but there's space there that's not being used. So I had I had one crate behind there, which was wasted space, but I was able to get all my printing stuff, especially when I was doing notary, all my ink and a lot of my office supplies, because I was trying to put it in this closet until we got clothes in there. There's shelves in the closet, but you can't reach them. It's either clothes or stuff on the shelf. If you do both, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be crawling in under the clothes, and you got to take a headlamp and hope there's no critters, and it's just like hard. It's not impossible. I like it, but it'd be better for like Christmas decorations or something. What I should do is take any kind of, see now you see how I get overwhelmed. I said just do that table if it takes me all night. So do this table. Don't just put everything on the floor, and then get back on the video. And then I'll deal with if I want to put the shelf, because I brought my eBay stuff out here, which is stupid. It's all over the place. But I saw her point of trying to set up her Etsy shop and then had to break it down because she's on the kitchen table, or because she's, the family needs that area. And I understand, hey, something sold, I already have a dedicated spot, let's package it, it's going to the post office first thing in the morning, instead of saying, hey, let me clean everything off, wipe everything down. So you don't want grease and stuff on your stuff either. I had this right here. I was using this 3 stacks of crates, so it's about 4 feet tall. And I told my partner, this is for my eBay store packaging. I'm going to do packaging here. It was kind of nice. I could put the scale on there and everything. And then it started having like plates and drinks, and I'm like, I say I don't want any grease in this area, because now if there was grease or something on the crate and I were to pull out some clothes and something white, brand new with tags, and if I were to lay it down and take pictures up there, measure it, it's going to get dirty. So that was a bad idea. When you do the historical fiction, I talk about when you do regular real life. I don't hang out with people, so I don't know what people's houses look like anymore. But people that actually have I've been to home offices, and they're pretty big, and they're organized, and they have all the supplies. And when you go in, you go out, you can shut the door and go back to your life, your free time. And then if you want to pay a bill or do some work or get on the computer and do certain things that aren't, you can go back in there and then kind of turn off your personal for a minute and then go back out. I'm not saying it works like that. Like, we could all be like sitting on the couch with our laptops and with the TV on and the dogs running around and the kids and stuff. But I feel like there's so much when you have a dedicated space for this, a dedicated space for that. And somebody told me, the problem with you is you need to have a dedicated space for everybody. But when you live in a haphazard home, it's not designed. This place is designed as an office. So someone was doing some office work here. It's not designed for home office. I mean, people have dens, and remember on the Brady Bunch, he was the architect, he had a den, and the kids rarely went in, but that was a huge room where he had everything, and the drawings and stuff was clean, and if he wanted to go eat and drink coffee, he'd go out to the table and stuff. So it's like Hollywood, I guess, fantasy. But it took me watching a 10-minute video of somebody else saying like, oh yeah, it's nice to have a dedicated space and you don't have all that issue with having to pull everything out, putting everything back and do this. I was like, it might save us 2 minutes, but I'm like, you know what? It's going to be more than 2 minutes, and it's going to be peace of mind. Peace, guys. Hang in there. If you're not like me, then congratulations. If you are like me, or you have some similar kind of quirks, then I feel like for me, I'm having a light bulb moment with being in recovery and not finding support networks, whether that's a paid employee or somebody who's just in your group or in your family. And I realized people are like, you're getting fat. My old pastor, you're getting fat. People, it's how common it is for people to trade one addiction for another. How about I had eating disorders? How about I was allowing myself to let society tell me that I needed to be skinny? It was more my parents than society, and I found society like that too. So I was like, I'm already on the ball since 2nd grade. How about when you're not smoking cigarettes, you decide to eat a couple pieces of fruit a day, and when you were homeless with no money, you weren't eating anything, maybe a hot dog every now and then, and now you're actually like trying to sit down with your kids. Like, of course I fed my kids, but I wasn't interested. I didn't have money. The less money I had, the more went to the kids and the less went to me, because I was one of those people that sacrificed. So when I started getting my own money, I got fat before that. I got fat eating out of food pantries, food I was allergic to, food that was making me sick and going to the doctor. I wasted so much money. If I just went to Whole Foods, it was wild. It was actually really cheap. And if I did New Seasons in the first place, I wouldn't have been so sick if I'd stuck to my diet. Everyone said, you're making it up. Nobody has all these kind of allergies.